Revision classes for 10th class students. The chapter is Excretion by K. Manjula, SA Biological Science, ZP High School, Palasamudram, Gorenta Mandal, Anantapur district. Let us go into the lesson. Have you ever seen any factory manufacturing a product without producing waste? At the same time, have you ever seen any kitchen where the food is prepared without producing any waste substances? Let us go in detail. Let us see about the living organisms. Living organisms need energy for their survival and to perform activities, either building up of body material or its breakdown. It refers that either the living organisms build any substance or synthesize any substance, or it may break down the complex substances into simpler ones. All these processes collectively are called as metabolic activities. Different products are generated as a result of these metabolic activities. Let us see, for example, as a result of photosynthesis in plants, glucose and oxygen are produced. At the same time, as a result of respiration, the heat and carbon dioxide is formed. And as a result of digestion, several substances like glucose, amino acids, fatty acids, glycerol, feces, etc. are formed. Are all these substances useful for organisms? Let us see. The glucose and carbon dioxide, which are formed as a result of photosynthesis, may be utilized by the plant once again, because the glucose is the energy, it is energy source for the plant, hence it utilizes glucose for its growth and development. But the thing is that the oxygen is utilized by the plant. Some amount of oxygen is utilized by the plant, but maximum amount of oxygen is released out into the atmosphere. At the same time, the heat which is released by the process of respiration, it will be utilized by the body. The energy which is released by the process of respiration will be utilized for the body activities, but the carbon dioxide which is released as a byproduct of respiration, it will not be utilized by the body, it will be released out into the atmosphere. At the same time, the resultant substances like glucose, amino acids and fatty acids will be utilized by the body for its growth and development, but feces, they will not be any more useful for the living organisms. So, all these substances like oxygen, carbon dioxide and feces, oxygen in the case of photosynthesis, carbon dioxide in the case of respiration, whereas feces in the case of digestion, are considered as waste substances and have to be released out as they may harm the organisms. So these are just examples. There are several nitrogenous substances are being formed by different metabolic activities in the body of a living organism. What is the solution? These waste substances have to be excreted. The separation and removal of waste and non-useful substances from the body is called as excretion. Excretion in human being. In human being, number of metabolic activities are being taken place. As a result, many useful substances are formed along with energy. This will be utilized for the growth and development of human body. At the same time, several toxic substances are formed, as well as water level may be excessed and there will be a disturbance of ionic balance. The waste products may be in the form of carbon dioxide, excess of water, nitrogenous compounds like ammonia, urea, uric acid, bile pigments, excess of salts, etc. Carbon dioxide will be released out of the body through the respiratory system. Then what about excess of water and nitrogenous substances? They may cause a lot of harm to our body if they remain in our body itself. Hence, they must be excreted out of our body. How does our body manage it? It is the excretory system that enables our body to excrete all the waste substances from our body and keeps us healthy. Let us learn more about excretory system in human being. In human being, excretion majorly occurs through the urinary system or excretory system, consisting of a pair of kidneys, a pair of ureters, urinary bladder and urethra. Let us learn each part in detail. Kidneys. In human beings, there is a pair of bean-shaped reddish-brown structures in the abdominal cavity on either side of the backbone. The size of the kidney is around 10 cm length, 5 to 6 cm breadth and 4 cm thickness. Each kidney is convex on its outside and concave on inner side. The position of right kidney is little lower than the left kidney due to the presence of liver above. Inner side of each kidney has a fissure or hilus for the entry of renal artery and renal vein. Renal artery brings in oxygenated blood with nitrogenous waste, whereas renal vein carries out deoxygenated blood. The waste products are removed from the blood in the kidney itself. Let us learn more about internal structure of the kidney. Let us observe the longitudinal structure of kidney. It shows two distinct regions. Dark colored outer zone is called as cortex, whereas pale inner zone is called as medulla. Each kidney is made up of approximately more than 1 million microscopic thin tubular functional units called nephrons or uriniferous tubules. The nephrons collectively enter into the calyces, which in turn it leads to pelvis. Pelvis continues as the whitish, narrow, distensible and muscular tubes of around 30 cm length called ureter. There are a pair of ureters moving downwards and obliquely open into the urinary bladder. Ureters carry urine from kidney to the urinary bladder. Urinary bladder is a median pear-shaped sac. It stores urine of about 300 to 800 ml brought by two ureters. And final structure is the urethra. It is a tube that takes urine from urinary bladder to outside. The opening of urinary bladder into the urethra is guarded by a ring of muscles as sphincters. Urethra is 4 cm long in females and about 20 cm long in males. Its opening is separate in females but it common in with the reproductive tract in males. Structure of nephron. Each nephron has basically two parts, Malpighian body and renal tubule. Let us learn about Malpighian body. It consists of a blind cup-shaped broader end of nephron called Bowman's capsule and a bunch of fine blood capillaries called glomerulus. The Bowman's capsule and glomerulus together called as Malpighian capsule or renal capsule. The glomerulus develops from afferent arteriole. It gives rise to an afferent arteriole. But diameter of afferent arteriole is less than that of the afferent arteriole. Why is it so? Because of the narrower outlet of afferent arteriole, pressure exerts in the glomerulus. Then it functions as the filtration unit. Bowman's capsule is lined by a single layer of squamous epithelial cells called podocytes. There are fine pores in between the podocyte cells to allow the passage of materials filtered out of glomerulus. This is about Malpighian body. Now let us learn about renal tubule. Renal tubule has three parts. Bowman's capsule continues as the proximal convoluted tubule, which is followed by loop of Henle and finally leads to distal convoluted tubule. Distal convoluted tubule opens into a collecting tube. Collecting tubes form pyramids and calyces which open into the pelvis. Pelvis leads to the ureter. All the parts of the renal tubule are covered by a network of peritubular capillaries, blood capillaries, formed from afferent arteriole, the arteriole which exits out of the glomerulus. The peritubular capillaries join to form renal venule, which joins the other venule to form finally the renal vein. Mechanism of urine formation. The formation of urine involves four stages: glomerulus filtration, tubular reabsorption, tubular secretion, and finally formation of hypertonic urine. Let us see one by one. Glomerulus filtration. When the blood flows from renal artery to glomerulus through the afferent arteriole, and as the pressure is exerted on the blood capillaries, the substances along with lot amount of water is filtered into the PCT throughout the pores in between the podocytes. This is called as glomerulus filtration. The next one is tubular reabsorption. The filtrate from the glomerular is also called as primary urine. Whatever is filtered from the glomerulus enters into the PCT, it is called as primary urine, which almost equal to the blood in chemical composition, but this primary urine does not contain the blood cells. It passes throughout the proximal convoluted tubule and loop of Henle. During this process, useful substances in primary urine are reabsorbed into the peritubular network, like excess of water. The next stage is tubular secretion. After reabsorption in PCT region, the urine travels through the loop of Henle into DCT. Here, some other waste like extra salts, ions of potassium, sodium, chlorine and hydrogen are secreted from the peritubular capillaries into DCT. This is somewhat maintaining a proper concentration and pH of urine by balancing the water and ions. The next stage is formation of hypertonic urine. 75% of water content of nephric filtrate is reabsorbed into the region of proximal convoluted tubule. 10% of water passes out of filtrate through the osmosis in the area of loop of Henle. This leads to the concentration of urine. But further concentration of urine takes place in the area of collecting tubules in the presence of hormone called vasopressin. This hormone is secreted only when concentrated urine is to be passed out. If we drink less water, more vasopressin is released and most of the water gets reabsorbed into the body. This leads to the high concentrated production of urine. Deficiency of vasopressin causes excessive or repeated dilute urination called as diabetes insipidus. Nephrons are considered as the structural and functional unit of the kidney, as each kidney is made up of more than 1 million microscopic nephrons, and the main function of the kidney, that is filtration of waste substances from the blood, is taken over by the nephrons. Dialysis. Dialysis is the process which is recommended to filter the blood of a person when both kidneys are damaged. It is done through the dialysis machine. In this process, blood is taken out from the main artery mixed with an anticoagulant such as heparin. Why do we add this heparin? To avoid blood clot. And then it is pumped into the dialysis machine. In the dialysis machine, the blood is filtered and the cleaned blood is pumped back to the body through a vein after adding anticoagulant. This is how we can save a person if both kidneys are damaged by the process of dialysis. Even if the dialysis does not work, if the kidneys are completely damaged, completely become not functional, then we can prefer the kidney transplantation. Excretion in plants. Do the plants excrete like animals? The plants break down waste substances at much slower rate than the animals. And of course, almost all the plants utilize some of the waste substances in some other processes. Like for example, the oxygen which is released in the process of photosynthesis will be utilized by the process of respiration, and vice versa. Only the excess amount of carbon dioxide and oxygen are released out into the atmosphere through the stomata. The plants can get rid of the excess of water by the process like transpiration and guttation. There is another interesting fact that waste products may be stored in leaves, bark and fruits. When these dead leaves, bark and ripened fruits fall off from the tree, then waste products in them are get rid of. Waste gets stored in the fruits in the form of solid bodies called rhaphides. This is another amazing fact of the plants. However, several compounds are synthesized by the plants for their own use, especially for defense. Now let us see some interesting concepts about the waste products in plants. The biochemical substances produced in plants are of two types: primary metabolites and secondary metabolites. The materials like carbohydrates, fats and proteins are primary metabolites, but the materials which do not require for normal growth and development are secondary metabolites. For example, alkaloids, tannins, resins, gums and latex. Let us see some of them. The first one is alkaloids. Let us take some examples of alkaloids and their uses. The first one is quinine. It is obtained from Cinchona officinalis. It is obtained from the bark of this plant. It is used as anti-malarial drug. The next one is nicotine. It is obtained from the leaves of Nicotiana tabacum, that is tobacco plants. It is used as insecticide. The next one is morphine. It is obtained from the fruit of Papaver somniferum. It is used as a painkiller. And the next one is reserpine. It is obtained from the root and bark of Rauwolfia serpentina. It is used as a medicine for snake bite. And the further, caffeine. It is obtained from the seeds of Coffea arabica plant, that is coffee plant. It is used as central nervous system stimulant. The next one is nimbin. It is obtained from seeds, barks and leaves of Azadirachta indica, that is neem plant. It is used as antiseptic. The next one is scopolamine. It is obtained from the fruit and flower of Datura stramonium plant, that is Datura plant. It is used as sedative. And finally, pyrethroids. These are obtained from the flowers of Tridacus. They are used as insecticides. Let us see some of the secondary metabolites other than alkaloids, like tannins. Tannins are carbon compounds. These are stored in different parts of the plant and are deep brown in color. Tannins are used in tanning of leather and in medicines. Example, cassia and acacia. The next one is resin. It occurs mostly in gymnosperms in specialized passages called resin passages. These are used in varnishes. Example, pinus plant. The next one is gums. We are well aware of these gums. Plants like neem, acacia oozes out sticky substances called gum. When branches are cut, the gum swells by absorbing water and helps in the healing of damaged parts of a plant. Gums are economically valuable and used as adhesives and binding agents in the preparation of medicines, food, etc. And finally, latex. It is a sticky milky white substance secreted by plants. Latex is stored in the latex cells or latex vessels. And this has a lot of economic value, like from the latex of Hevea braziliensis plant, that is rubber plant, rubber is prepared. Latex from Jatropha is a source of biodiesel. This is how the plants utilize the excess substances, most of the excess substances, to form the secondary metabolites, which will be utilized by the plants for the purpose of defense or any other purposes. Half-mark questions from the chapter Excretion. Let us go into the questions. Write the abbreviation for ESRD. ESRD refers to End stage renal disease. End stage renal disease. Next question. Fill the empty place in the following flow chart that shows the urine formation stages. So, there is a flow chart representing the different stages in urine formation, beginning with glomerulus filtration followed by tubular reabsorption. After tubular reabsorption, tubular secretion takes place. The next question. Fill the blank by reading the following para. The dash formed by glomerulus filtration is almost equal to the blood in chemical composition except the presence of blood cells. It passes into the proximal convoluted tubule. So, what is formed by glomerulus filtration immediately? That is primary urine. Next question. Correct the underlined word to make the following sentence perfect. There is a sentence in which a word is underlined. We need to correct it. The materials which do not require for the normal growth and development but for the activities are called as primary metabolites. Actually, such kind of substances are called as secondary metabolites. Hence, the answer is secondary metabolites. Next question. Which of the part is wrongly written in the given picture and write the correct word? So, this is the picture representing the glomerulus, Bowman's capsule. This is the picture representing the Bowman's capsule in which afferent and efferent arteries have been labeled. But the thing is that A afferent arteriole is the right one, but B afferent arteriole is the wrong one. Actually, it has to be efferent arteriole. EFFERENT, efferent arteriole. The arteriole which comes out of the glomerulus is efferent arteriole. The next question. Find out the group which is related to the alkaloids. There are two groups, X and Y. X constitutes nimbin, caffeine, latex, resins and quinine, whereas Y constitutes quinine, nimbin, reserpine, nicotine and morphine. Here in X group, nimbin, caffeine and quinine are the alkaloids, but latex and resins are one of the secondary metabolites. But the group Y constitutes all the alkaloids like quinine, nimbin, reserpine, nicotine and morphine. Hence, the group which is related to completely alkaloids is Y. Next question. Mollusca is to Metanephridia so as to Nematoda is to dash. It means in molluscans the excretory organs are Metanephridia. What are the excretory organs in Nematoda? So, the rennet cells are the excretory organs in Nematoda. Next question. Identify the mismatched one. There are three pairs. We need to identify the mismatched pair. Glomerulus filtration, Malpighian body, tubular reabsorption, PCT, tubular secretion, PCT. In this Malpighian, glomerulus filtration is to Malpighian body. Okay, because glomerulus filtration occurs in Malpighian body, whereas tubular reabsorption occurs in PCT, but tubular secretion occurs in DCT, distant convoluted tubule. Hence, the mismatched one is tubular secretion PCT. Next question. Match the words in the following two sections. Section A contains cow, planaria and cockroach, whereas section B contains green glands, flame cells and kidney. Here the excretory organs in cow are kidney, whereas the excretory organs in planaria are flame cells and the excretory organs in cockroach or arthropods is green glands. So, when we match them, the answer is A is to 3, B is to 2 and C is to 1. Next question. I have a large number of sweat glands richly supplied with blood capillaries from which I collect excess water and salts and excrete. Who am I? Obviously, I am the skin. Next question. I am the gland attached to kidneys but does not have any role in excretion. Who am I? So, I am the adrenal gland which is present on the kidney but it does not have any role in excretion process. Next question. A teacher has taken starfish as example to teach about the water vascular system, whereas what example can he take to explain nephridia? It means in starfish the water vascular system is the excretory system. So, what about the excretory organs in which organisms the nephridia exist as excretory organs? They are earthworm, because in earthworm nephridia are the excretory organs. One more questions from the chapter excretion. Let us go into the questions. The first question is, What may happen if the waste materials are not sent out of the body? If the waste materials are not sent out of the body, they may cause harm to our body, disturb the metabolic cycles, and also create illness, which may also lead to the death of a person. Hence, regularly the waste materials have to be sent out of the body. Next question. When is the kidney transplantation preferred? So, when both kidneys are failed to work, kidney transplantation is preferred. Next question. What are the metabolites produced in plants? There are two types of metabolites produced in plants, such as primary metabolites and secondary metabolites. Next question. What is the principle involved in dialysis? The principle involved in dialysis is diffusion of solutes and ultrafiltration of fluid across the semi-permeable membrane. On this principle, the dialysis works. Next question. Why the right kidney is placed slightly lower than the left kidney? When you observe the diagram of any excretory system of human being, the right kidney is just lower than the left kidney. Why? It is because due to the presence of liver above the right kidney, it is placed slightly lower than the left kidney. Next question. Why the diameter of afferent arteriole is less than the afferent arteriole? Let us see the answer. Observe the diagram. In the diagram, there are two arterioles, afferent arteriole and efferent arteriole. This is the afferent arteriole and this is the efferent arteriole. The diameter of afferent arteriole is more than the diameter of efferent arteriole. The afferent arteriole is the one which brings the blood into the glomerulus. Efferent arteriole is the outlet of the blood from the glomerulus. If the diameter of efferent arteriole is less than the diameter of afferent arteriole, the pressure is exerted in the glomerulus, which results in the filtration of urine through the pseudocytes of Bowman's capsule. 2 marks questions from the chapter excretion. Let us go into the questions. The first question is, why do some people need to use dialysis machine, or at what circumstances dialysis is prescribed? So the answer is, the people with renal diseases and without the proper functioning of kidneys need to remove the waste substances artificially. It means that if both kidneys fail to function, the waste substances may sustain in the body and cause diseases and may also lead to the death of a person. Hence, these waste substances have to be removed artificially, or they have to be eliminated artificially. The dialysis is the artificial filtration of blood to remove the waste substances. So, they need to use dialysis. Next question. Do you think the hormone vasopressin is released all the time? No. Vasopressin is not released all the time. It is an essential hormone that helps in reabsorption of excess of water. So, if the water is taken more, if the water intake is more, the vasopressin will be released very less or not released, because there is sufficient water in our body. If the water is less intake, if there is less water intake, more vasopressin is released to enhance the reabsorption of water into the body. This is how our body regulates the water levels. Next question. Write the differences between excretion and secretion. Let us write the excretion and secretion in a table on either side. Excretion is the removal of waste substances out from the body, whereas secretion is the release and movement of substances from one part of the body to another part. The excretory substances are excess of water, urea, uric acid and ammonia. So, these are the results of excretion, whereas the results of secretion may be the enzymes or hormones. Next question. Write the differences between primary metabolites and secondary metabolites. Again, let us draw a table with primary metabolites and secondary metabolites on either side. The primary metabolites are the products that are basically produced during the growth phase, whereas secondary metabolites are the end products of primary metabolites formed after the growth period completes. The next one is, primary metabolites help for the growth and development, whereas secondary metabolites help for the protection, gaining essential nutrients, etc. The examples of primary metabolites are carbohydrates, proteins, etc., whereas the examples for secondary metabolites are alkaloids, tannins, resins, latex. Primary metabolites are produced in larger quantities, whereas secondary metabolites are reduced in smaller quantities. Next question. Write the slogans about organ donation. So I have given some slogans here. You can form your own slogans. Donate organs, donate life. Give life after your life. Don't let your organs towards the burial grounds. Let them to give life to others. Your single eye can help the blind to enjoy the world. Donate organs, live after death. Donate organs to others, live forever. Organ is a gift of life. Just pass it on. Share your organs and share your life. Next question. What habits would you like to suggest for proper functioning of kidneys? If the kidneys to function properly, what kind of habits that we have to adopt? The answer is drink plenty of water regularly, avoid alcohol consumption and smoking, take nutrient and vitamin rich food, cut down on soda consumption, do exercises regularly, stop taking too many painkillers, avoid too much intake of salt, and go for regular health checkup of diabetes after 30 years of age. 4 marks questions from the chapter excretion. Let us go into the questions. The first question is, look at the diagram and answer the following questions. There is a diagram given. This is LS of kidney, followed by some questions. We need to answer them. The first question is, what does this diagram indicate? This diagram indicates the LS of kidney, longitudinal section of kidney. Next question. Label this diagram, or the question may also be asked as name the parts which are labeled. Some labeling may be given like X, Y or A, B, C, D like that. We need to label them. So for this purpose, I am labeling all the parts of the kidney. The outermost region of the kidney is known as cortex, which is dark red in color, and the next innermost part is called as medulla, which is light red in color. The artery which enters into the kidney is known as renal artery, and the vein which comes out of the kidney is known as renal vein. The next are calyces which collect all the collecting tubules of nephron. Next one is the flattened and the wide structure is known as pelvis. The pelvis continues as the ureter. These are the different parts of kidney. Next question. What is the main function of this diagram? The main function of this kidney is to filter the waste substances from the blood and excrete them. So the main process is excretion. You can also write the main process is excretion. Next question. Why is the outer portion dark and the inner portion pale in color? Because the outer cortex, the portion which is said to be the outer portion is known as cortex. The cortex contains the glomerulus of the nephrons, which are highly tangled blood capillaries. So, whereas the inner medulla zone contains the renal tubules of nephron. Due to the presence of glomerulus, the cortex is dark red in color, whereas the medulla is pale red in color. Next question. How many nephrons exist in each structure? Or this question may also be asked as what is this structure made up of basically? So each kidney is made up of approximately 1.3 to 1.8 million microscopic nephrons. Next question. What is the vessel that enters into the kidney and what does it bring? So when labeling, I have already said that the blood vessel which enters into the kidney is the renal artery. So this renal artery enters into the kidney that brings oxygenated blood along with the waste substances collected from different parts of the body. Next question. Look at the diagram and answer the following questions. A diagram of nephron is given here, followed by some questions. We need to answer them. Let us go to the questions. The first question is, name this diagram. This is nephron. Next question. Where are these structures present? So these are present in the kidney. In the last question itself we have learned. Or we can also write that each kidney is made up of 1.3 to 1.8 millions of these nephrons. Next question. Label the parts of this diagram. As I have said earlier, the labeling may also be given in the form of A, B, C, D or X, Y, Z. you have to answer them. So to do so, I am giving all the labelings of this diagram. The cup-shaped structure, which is known as Bowman's capsule, in which there are highly tangled blood capillaries known as glomerulus, together form the Malpighian body. And the next portion is proximal convoluted tubule, which is the following of Bowman's capsule. Bowman's capsule it leads to the proximal convoluted tubule, and later it forms the distal convoluted tubule. In between the proximal convoluted tubule and distal convoluted tubule, PCT and DCT, there is a hairpin-like structure known as loop of Henle, and there is collecting tubule. And observe the diagram, the whole nephron is entangled with the blood capillaries. One is blood vessel to renal vein, another one is blood vessel from the renal artery. Next question, why is it called structural and functional unit of kidney? Because kidney is made up of nearly 1.3 to 1.8 million nephrons, and the urine formation takes place in nephron, the main function of the kidney. So it is called as structural and functional unit of the kidney. Next question, what is the cup-shaped structure in this diagram? What is its function? The cup-shaped structure, the cup, that is called as Bowman's capsule, along with the glomerulus forms the Malpighian body. So the blood is filtered in the Malpighian body and forms the primary urine and leads it to the proximal convoluted tubule. Next question, what is the main process that takes place in this structure? The urine formation that takes place in this structure. If the question is asked as what is the function that takes place in Bowman's capsule, it is a blood filtration to form the primary urine. But if the question is generalized to the whole diagram, what is the main process that takes place in this structure, then you have to write the urine formation takes place in this structure. Next question, what happens if all these structures are damaged in kidney? So the waste substances will not be filtered from the blood, and this may result to the death of a person. Let us go to the next question. There is a diagram of dialysis. Look at the diagram and answer the following questions. The first question is, what does this diagram indicate? This diagram indicates the process of dialysis. The next one, from which blood vessel the blood is taken out in this process? Actually, the blood is taken out from the main artery. The next question, what do the two bottles indicate in this diagram? There are two bottles filled with dialysing fluid. One bottle contains fresh fluid and another one is filled with the used dialysing fluid. The next question, what is the main principle involved in this process? The principle involved in this process is diffusion of solutes like nitrogenous substances and also ultrafiltration of fluid, any waste fluid, across the semi-permeable membrane. Next question, at what condition this process is preferred to the patients? When both kidneys are failed to work, this process of dialysis is preferred to the patients. Let us go to the next one. This is a data-based question. Observe the table and answer the following questions. Here, the alkaloids have been given and the part of the plant from which these alkaloids are obtained and the usage of the alkaloids. Let us go to the questions. The first question is, what is the alkaloid that can be used to treat malaria? In this table, the anti-malarial drug is quinine. Hence, the answer is quinine is an anti-malarial drug that can be used to treat malaria. Next question, which part of the plant produces alkaloid nimbin? Observe the table. The nimbin is produced from seeds, bark and leaves. Almost all parts of the plant body gives the nimbin. Next question, what is the alkaloid that is obtained from the flower in the above data? That is pyrethroids. Next one, what is the alkaloid that is obtained from the seeds and used as stimulant to the brain? That is caffeine.